Hello, everyone, and welcome to Seriously Loco, the Seriously Crazy fan podcast for El Paso Locomotive FC. I'm your host, Phil Bakke, and I'm joined tonight by my co-host, Mikka Burrell. Mikka, how's it going?
Going well. We are continuing with Getting Loco. It's a tradition now, so
yeah,
it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been cool putting the series together, and I did, Mikka, want to wish you a happy Women and Girls in Sports Day.
Thank you so much. Very sweet of you, and to everyone who wished me. And I didn't know that it was today, so thank you guys so much.
So yeah, awesome to have you as part of the show and to be able to boast that. And no, it's been cool seeing the amount of people giving you love, rightfully so. But tonight we're here for one reason really, and that is to interview the first new signing of the John Hutchinson era at El Paso Locomotive, and that is Emmanuel Sonupe. Emmanuel, welcome to the show, and it's good to meet you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
So, Emmanuel, I know you just got to El Paso like last week, and you've been kind of hitting the ground running with the team, just straight into training, straight into a couple of friendlies. But how have you been finding El Paso? You know, you came a long way from the UK. How are you finding things early doors here?
Well, it's been really good, actually. It's been really good. It's to be honest, the club have been really good with helping me settle in. Sal's just like, it's just been really good. He's helped me, so has all the other staff, with my apartment, with the visa, picking me up from the airport, and just, little things like that just add up and make it so much easier, especially when you're coming from such a long way. So yeah, no, that side of things have been really good. So that's been good. As for the training, it's been really good too. Been really good. It's been intense. It's been tough, but it's been good. It's been good. It's what I need. It's probably what I've been lacking. So just to get back into that, high intensity work, day in, day out, has been really good. So yeah, no, it's been a good week. It's definitely been a good first week.
Good to hear, Emmanuel. So obviously tonight we're going to talk about, your playing career, how you got to Locomotive and just kind of the whole spectrum. But we want to get to know you a little bit too as a person. Mm-hmm. And when the announcement came out from the club that they had signed you, obviously it was very exciting for all of us, but my heart did stop a little seeing you in the Spurs shirt. So I got to know, what club do you support? I mean, full disclosure, I'm a big Gooner, but I'm just curious. Are you a lifelong Spurs guy or? No,
funny enough, I grew up an Arsenal fan.
Yes.
I actually grew up an Arsenal fan, but when you're that young and you get an opportunity to play for one of the best academies, you're just not gonna turn it down. So that was the first opportunity I ever got when I was 10 to go and play for Spurs, and obviously took it. But I actually grew up an Arsenal fan actually.
Nice. So along those lines, who were kind of your footballing idols growing up?
Thierry Henry, definitely. He was definitely a massive one. That was someone I just looked up to, especially being an Arsenal fan when I was growing up. He was definitely the one that, he speaks for himself, really. Sure. Thierry Henry. Who else? Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho was a big one. Nice. Later in my career, probably Eden Hazard. Wow. He was probably the one when I got to, when he was like at his prime in the Premier League. But yeah, I would say Thierry Henry was probably the biggest one.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Was it just Thierry's game that like drew you to him, or was there other aspects of Thierry Henry that
it was really, the whole package, really. It was the whole package. You know what he's like. He was a character at the same time, but he was so good. So some of his celebrations, his charisma, you know how he was as a player. He was just a guy, wasn't he? And obviously he used to wear the Nike boots, which I always used to try and get the same ones as him. But yeah, like you said, like that's a good point, because it was the whole package of Thierry Henry. Like he was just that icon, wasn't he? But yeah.
I like obviously coming from London and South London specifically, like hotbed of football, just completely surrounded, I'm sure, like from an early age. So I'm curious, like, what's your earliest footballing memory in terms of like growing up with the game or like really getting started in the game? Like what is one of the things that you really think about, like when you first started playing or first started watching the game?
Well, I grew up in a place called Peckham, southeast London, and Peckham was it was my home, and that's where I grew up. And it was quite rough, to be fair, but you know, that was my home, and no matter what was going on, it was just home. And my earliest memories was just playing football in a cage downstairs from where I grew up. Like it was like, I just remember when I was like 10, 11, like that was all I wanted to do. I just wanted to go downstairs, get in a cage with all my friends on a summer's day, get the ice poles out and just play football. And we'll just play football for hours and hours, and you just won't get tired. And, you know, would make little games up with the swings and, you know, just kind of make what you can with your surroundings. And it just used to get so competitive, and it was fun. And that's what football is, you know. You know, you want to enjoy it. And those were some of my happiest memories growing up. Just being in the cage or in a park with my friends, like literally downstairs from where I've grown up, from like 2 p.m. till late at night until my mum calls me in. So yeah, those were the most like fun memories, like growing up, like when I first started playing.
Well, speaking of, you know, growing up in South London, obviously, it, you know, like Phil said, it's a hotbed of talent. There's so many talented footballers come from that area. How did you stand out? How did you get noticed by Spurs scouts? Were there like tournaments, or I mean, were people really coming by the cages and just seeing who's got a good touch? Like, how does that work? How did you stand out and find yourself at Tottenham Hotspur?
So I played for a Saturday league team called Bethwyn, and they were like one of the biggest in South London. So my older brother actually played for them. So obviously I joined up. I think I joined up when I was 9 or 10. And luckily there was a coach from Bethwyn who had moved to Tottenham. And then he would come back occasionally just to see who the best talent was at his old club. And funny enough, they actually came for another boy. And it was just good timing. I was there, I was playing, didn't even know there were Tottenham scouts there. And just, you know, like I said, just enjoying it, just playing, just having fun as you do as a 10-year-old. And yeah, he just approached me after and said, you know, he wants to give me a trial. So he done a trial before the trial with just him. So it took about 6 of us. We had a trial to see if we could get a trial. And then I got through that, and then ended up getting a 6-week trial at Spurs when I was 10. And then, yeah, got through that 6-week trial, and then ended up staying there for the next 10 years.
Well, obviously, you know, like you said, you were there a decade. Do you keep in touch with any of the Spurs boys? Anybody in the first team even? Or you still have any friends from the club?
Yeah, the only one that's still there in the first team is Harry Winks. We're still really good friends. It's his birthday today, actually, funny enough.
There we go.
But, yeah.
He's been playing a little bit more under
Conte. Yeah. Conte seems to like him, which is good because... yeah, he's a good player. So, but yeah, Will Miller, he's still really good friends. He's stopped playing now. He's just started his own creative company. Kane Vincent Young, he's at Ipswich, doing really well. Yeah, there's still a few. Those are probably the closest. Kyle Walker-Peters, he was a year younger than me, but we were in the same youth team. He's doing really well at Southampton in the Premier League. So, yeah, we'll still keep in touch with them. We went on holiday, all of us, all 5 of us, a couple of years ago. So, yeah, awesome. They're doing well.
So what would you say then, you personally, what would you say is your best position or your favorite position? I mean, if the answer is different for either of them, then by all means, but how would you describe your best or favorite position, and how would you describe your play style too?
My favorite position is probably a right winger, right or left, but I'd say if I had to pick, I'd say a right winger, just because it's more natural for me. I've always had good movement, and with my pace, that works well. But I'd say I'm like a direct winger, but not just pace. You know, I like to get on the ball. I like to drop into the pockets. I like to receive it. I like to get involved. Like, you know, we've got good number 10s in the team, and sometimes Vela gets on the ball and I get excited and I want to go inside and play with him. But at the same time, my biggest strengths are probably staying wide and isolating the fullback. But yeah, I would say my best position is probably right wing. Yeah.
So one of the things when we were just looking at like your career and the shape of it, and like different teams you had gone to, I think it's the story of any player that spends significant time in a big club's academy. You spend time out on loan, but you're playing in the U21s as well. Like you kind of go back and forth. So between that time out on loan at football league clubs and then your time with Spurs, like U21s in the PL2 and like that sort of development league, what do you put more stock in? Like, did you find you learned more in the football league, or did you learn more playing against like the other reserve teams?
That's a good question. I would say I was really lucky to be at Tottenham at the time when I done my youth team from 16 to 18, I was really lucky because we had such a good staff, you know. So the academy manager we had was John McDermott, who is now the FA technical director, which is like, you know, probably the highest job in football. He was our academy manager. And we had Kieran McKenna and Matt Wells, who were our youth team coaches. And Hugo Ekiog. We had Alex Inglethorpe for a little bit, but he moved to Liverpool. But the significant part of my youth team was Kieran McKenna, who, you know, spent a lot of his professional career at Man U as I don't think he was assistant, but he was with the first team coaches. And Matt Wells, who's at Bournemouth right now, doing really well. And we were really lucky to have them because that really molded me as a man and as a footballer, because the environment they created was just, you know, really, really good. Like, just football obsessed, you know, like, it was very competitive. You always wanted to be in the youth team, and it really prepared me, as much as I didn't realize at that moment. It really prepared me for when I actually left Spurs. And technically, you know, the demand that was put on training and everything really helped me, you know, things that helped me till today. So in that aspect, that really did help. But at the same time, there's experiences that you get going out on loan that you can't get in the under 21s. You know, just playing against men, that physical side of things, going into changing rooms where there's more at stake. And, you know, you're really, really fighting for positions where sometimes it gets nasty. So that really toughened me up as a man, going out on loan. But it's tough because there's things from both sides that I would say really helped me. But definitely the environment that was created when I was at Tottenham in my youth team was definitely a special one.
The Alex Inglethorpe shout was funny. I'm a Liverpool fan, so obviously him being the academy director at Liverpool is big, and the academy's been brilliant. So pretty amazing that you had the opportunity to work with him as well. And
I think McKenna is at Ipswich now, right?
He's just gone to Ipswich. Matt Wells is at Bournemouth. And all of these are so deserved,
right.
I really can't explain how that environment was. It was just, it was relentless. It was just, it really helped me, because day in, day out, there was just a demand and a high demand. And, John knew what it took to really become a footballer. And he tried to instill that in us day in, day out. And, his track record speaks for itself. He's produced countless of players that have gone on to have great careers. So, definitely a good learning curve that.
Well, speaking of, your time, at different clubs, you found yourself at Kidderminster Harriers, first on loan, I think, and then made that deal permanent for the 2017-18 season. You had a really good season, 10 goals, 3 assists in 37 appearances. What do you attribute that production to that season? Was it tactics, coaching? Did you just really gel with your teammates there? What do you think it was?
This again was just really good timing. And I went to Northampton in League One straight after Tottenham. And, as an optimistic kid coming out of an academy setup, my plan was to go to League One and have a good season and go straight back into the Championship Premier League. Obviously, not never, but doesn't always work out like that. But actually, when I was at Spurs, I had like a 2-3 month period where I was with the first team all the time. Pochettino and his staff took a real liking into me, and I was training up there. And the first team sports scientist, Nathan Gardner, he really liked me too. So his brother was the Kidderminster Harriers assistant. And I was having a tough time at Northampton. And I just went back into Tottenham to speak to John, and just that was my family in football. Well, it still is, but I just went there to, just have a chat and just, just like they were father figures to me in football. So I just went back there, and Nathan heard I was in the building and said, listen, you're not getting game time at Northampton. My brother's at Kidderminster. It's lower down, but this could be good for you to just go get some games and enjoy football again. And ended up being one of the best decisions I made. Obviously, going from Tottenham to the Conference North in a year, confidence-wise and in your head, you're just thinking, how have I dropped, 6 tiers? And I was, it was tough, but ended up being the best thing for me. I went there, and Matt Gardner, who was the assistant, he brought me in, and it was just unreal with me, and has been since I've met him. And the manager there at the time was John Eustace, who's now the assistant manager at QPR. And a combination of them to just, really help me get my confidence back, to work on my game. I played on the right wing there. We just played really good football. We had a really good surface. John, the manager, was just knew what he wanted out of the team, how he wanted to play. And Matt Gardner and John really acquired a really good group of players. And we just had a really good season. All in all, actually, I think I got 15 goals in all competitions. And at the end of that season, everyone moved on and went to do good things. Matt and John are still at QPR in the Championship. I went to Stevenage. A few players went into the league. And So yeah, it was a combination of loads of things. Timing was definitely one, because John and Matt being there, they stayed there. I think John was there a year or two, and it was just timing and a good group of players and good management, and yeah, it just all kind of fell into place.
Would you consider, just how you've spoken about like that family that you talked about from Tottenham and John and Matt, like, do you see them as your biggest influences in football? Or is there someone else that you say that you would say is your biggest influence on your career so far?
I'll say the biggest influence for me is probably John Mack from Tottenham. That's someone I still keep in touch with to today. That would be my biggest, because he was really good. But Matt and John Eustace really did have a big part to play at that moment.
Sure.
That year was definitely massive. Obviously, with the whole Tottenham, I was there a long time, and that relationship kind of built over years. But that year I was at Kidderminster definitely played a big part. Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk a little bit about international football. You have played for England at U16 and U18 levels. Have you ever wanted to play for Nigeria, though? Or has Nigeria ever showed interest in kind of trying to get you capped for them? Or
they haven't. Well, not that I know of. Things always go on behind the scenes, but they haven't. But yeah, definitely, that is something I'll be open to. There was talk of it, I think, when I was younger, a little bit, but nothing in recent years. But yeah, that's definitely something I'll do. I got a few friends playing for the first team now. But yeah, that is something I'll definitely do in the future, hopefully.
Did you follow, like, do you follow Nigeria's, in AFCON, like, do you, in the international tournaments, like, do you follow Nigeria's exploits?
Yeah, definitely. My whole family's Nigerian, mom, dad, everyone. So, and I got friends that are playing in there. So yeah, when we won the first 3 games, I was like, yeah, listen, this could be it. But you know how it goes sometimes,
so many attackers like Sadiq and Ian Hacho. I mean, just so many.
Yeah.
Stacked.
Yeah. No, good players. Good. We got good players, and it was just unlucky. It was just unlucky, but yeah, that's like my roots. I'm Nigerian before anything, so
that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk a little bit about Locomotive. You're now our player. So how did you find out about Locomotive's interest in you, and what was kind of like your first reaction? And if you say you had never heard of the club, we will not take offense.
No. Yeah. So, well, I had when I was at Spurs, I lived with a player called Grant Ward, and he came to America and played when we were in the youth team. He came on loan to Chicago Fire. So, the last couple of years I had in London, I wasn't really enjoying it, if I'm being honest. It goes in football sometimes, you have some highs and lows. And I just spoke to him about it just freely, how did you find it when you went? And he just had nothing but good things to say about going to play in MLS. And I just thought to myself, you know what, let me just see what could be possible. And he put me in touch with a couple players he had played with when he was there, who had now transitioned into agents, Giuseppe Gentili and Dennis Chen. So we just had a casual conversation. I told them I wasn't committing to anything. I didn't know anything really, to be honest. I knew a few things about the MLS, a few friends that had played or were currently playing. And the excitement they had for me and my profile and what they'd seen just got me excited, you know, and that's kind of when I started to think, okay, like, you know, maybe this could be an option for me. And, you know, I'm still young, I'm still hungry for it. And I still wanted to go to a good place to play football and a competitive league. And, you know, the conversation just kind of grew and grew and grew. And then, you know, I just thought I'll go for it, signed with them and said, listen, I just want to go somewhere where I can play good football and a team that's ambitious. You know, I didn't really want to come to America and sit on the beach or whatever it might be and, you know, have a nice life. Of course, everyone wants that too, but I still wanted to play competitive. I still wanted to, you know, compete. And they just kind of said to me the teams that they thought would suit me and what I'd want and where I'd have the best chance and stuff. And I think it was early December, maybe a bit before, that Dennis just reached out to me and, you know, lightly just told me that, you know, there's some interest with a few teams in the USL. And he just said to me, because he's played in the USL and he's done quite well, so he knows more than me. So he kind of pointed me in the direction of where he thinks would suit me the most. And he when El Paso showed strong interest with a couple others, he kind of said to me, listen, this is where you want to go. And then I started to do my own research and started to see the players that El Paso had. And you know how it is in football. You need good players around you to get the most out of yourself. And I saw Luna, I saw Vela, I saw Lucho. You know, I saw the goals that were being scored, and I saw the fan base, and you know, the excitement just started to grow in me, really. And then when he said that, listen, this could happen, I was just like, listen, let's go for it, because it's just all pointing in the right direction. So yeah, that's kind of what happened.
I love that story for a number of reasons, but the first thing that hit me was, and Derek can attest to this, that when he was teasing the signing on social media and everything, they said that it was a player from Spurs Academy, and the one player that I knew that had connections to the US from Spurs Academy was Grant Ward through the Fire. So I actually was like, is it Grant Ward? Like jokingly, thinking, that was a connection. And then now that I'm thinking about, he was probably at the Fire at the same time as Lucho. So there's probably a connection there, or around the same time maybe. So anyways, that was just a funny that you mentioned Grant and that connection. Part of what, you answered part of my next question, because I think, the players, obviously, like that is a draw, like for any player, in terms of like, we've seen success at Locomotive these opening 3 seasons and everything, but new manager. And obviously with you being new to the team, in your conversations with John and him bringing you on, like, did that further cement the decision in terms of like his philosophy and how he wants to play football?
Yeah, for sure. Because I've always been known as, high intensity, quick. But at the same time, I do have a good technical upbringing. And I spoke to him on the phone, and he told me how he wants to play and, the vision he had for me. And obviously being his first signing as well gave me a lot of confidence. And that really did further drive it, to be honest, because, it just suits me, and that's what you want as a player. You want a system that suits you to give yourself the best chance. So yeah, 100%. When I spoke to John, we had a good conversation, and he kind of told me what he wants from me, and where he sees me and where he sees me in the future. And yeah, that definitely, just cemented it, to be honest, and just kind of, it's like, yeah, where's the pen? So, yeah.
So is it safe to say that John his remit for you is to score goals. I heard you scored a nice one in preseason today. Is he looking to you for that?
Yeah. You know, he's very much about, you know, that fast flowing, attacking football, which is exciting, which suits me, which I'm good at. And yeah, definitely. Personally, obviously, that's my main aim. You know, I like to score goals. I like to assist. As much as I do like coming and getting the ball and touches, you know, I just love scoring. And that's what he wants me to do. You know what I mean? He wants me to score. He wants me to assist. And the system that's set up, you know, that's definitely going to help me do that.
Well, looking ahead to the season, you've mentioned a few names in terms of on the field in this first week of players that you've connected with, or maybe that you saw video of like prior to joining, that you have started to get excited about linking up with. In these early days, like, have you started to feel the beginnings of those sorts of connections with any specific players in terms of how you link up on the field or how you're getting on like off the field?
Richie Ryan has been one, off the field, more just because we've been playing like 5 players in one game, 5 players in another game. So I haven't actually played with Richie yet. In training a little bit, but off the field, yeah, definitely. He helped me. He spoke to me before I signed as well, actually, and Dominic as well. I actually met Dom before I'd signed in the UK, and we had a good chat. We met up for a coffee. That was actually, thinking back now, that was another you know, something that pushed me in the direction of El Paso as well. So yeah, having that familiar, you know, kind of English person with Dom. Richie's obviously Irish, but Richie, Foxy, that's helped. Definitely, that's definitely helped. On the pitch, I'd say Vela, because he's been playing, you know, in the 10, behind me. So I'll say Vela at the moment. Because he's kind of been playing the closest to me. He's got that eye for a pass. He's silky on the ball, and you know. So yeah, I'd say Vela probably. Mm-hmm.
And heading into the season, like you mentioned, it being a draw for you, that you were the first signing of this new manager, the first new signing, I should say, who wasn't already on the squad. That also adds a little bit of expectation from the fan base as well. So how do you feel about that added sort of expectation and everybody, you know, kind of waiting with interest to see what you bring to the team?
How do I feel about that? I don't really feel much, really. I'm just excited. Really to get back playing. I'm excited for the season. You know, the way things are shaping up really looks encouraging. The way the manager's got us working, the way he's got us playing, players we've got, the players that still have to come in. I'm just more excited to get going, to be honest. Don't really feel much pressure at all, really, if I'm being honest. Just excited.
And that excitement, obviously, leading into the first match of the season. It's I don't know if you've heard yet or been indoctrinated by the rest of the squad, but we're playing our you know, local rivals in New Mexico United in that first game, and the fans obviously put a lot of stock into that. So how do you think about that kicking the season off just with a derby?
Excited. To be honest, it's just, I'm just looking forward to it. Because it's going to be new for me. But at the same time, I'm just excited to get playing, man. I want to score. I want to assist. I want to be flying down that wing. I'm just excited for it. It's away. So it'll be nice to see to play in a new stadium, and everything's going to be new for me. So it's just more excitement than anything, if I'm being honest. I haven't really spoken too tough about the rivalry, to be honest. But no, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Emmanuel, I have to say, you've already endeared yourself to us here at Seriously Loco, because we noticed that you are a patron subscriber.
Yeah.
We dearly appreciate that. Did you like the piece that we did on you? Was it accurate, hopefully?
Yeah, no, it was. Saul told me about you before I signed. Definitely have to support. So yeah.
That's awesome. We appreciate it. We really do.
Well, Emmanuel, I know we're all excited to see you in action, and to see you out there on the field. As you said, you're excited to get out there. The way that we've ended most of these is talking about. I know you haven't been in El Paso for very long, but has anyone put you onto any food, El Paso food yet?
Well, I went to watch. I went to watch one of the football games the other day. I think it was the Rams and something. I went to watch that. So I ordered these tacos, but they came in this like soup.
Oh, were they like rolled?
They were rolled, yeah, and they came in like soup.
Yeah.
And okay. I'm not gonna lie, that's not for me. I had like 2 bites and they were nice. They took it off the bill. But yeah, that wasn't for me.
Oh man.
That wasn't for me. But I've heard really good things about the food. I just haven't, branched out, because we get food at the training ground at the moment. So
yeah,
I've been eating that a lot. And it's been an intense first week. So I've really not been actually out properly to eat or something like that. So, there's definitely time for it, but I won't be having those. I won't be having that.
That's it. I sympathize, Emmanuel, because I'm not a native El Pasoan either. And the first time that I got served those, I felt like I was being tricked.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, that's not uncommon, I don't think, for people new to El Paso. But I promise there's good food to be had.
No, I've heard good things. So I'll be checking out some restaurants.
Awesome. Well, nice. Emmanuel, thanks so much for spending the time with us tonight. It was a pleasure getting to know you better. And like I said, we're all just really excited to see you hit the pitch in March, and just wishing you a good rest of the preseason. Stay warm. I know it's getting cold out there, so not normal for El Paso, but
this is
brought
normal.
The UK weather.
Yeah, this is normal UK, so it's not too bad for me.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Emmanuel, again for the time. And
no, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thanks, Emmanuel. Appreciate it so much. Best of luck.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'll see you soon. Thank you.
That was Emmanuel Sonupe's interview with Seriously Loco. A great interview. Emmanuel was just such a pleasure to talk to. Super easygoing, just a very unassuming guy, but he's got a crazy football education. He's got tons of contacts in the football world, as he spoke about. But he's been brought up in an intense environment, and he has found, another intense environment here at El Paso Locomotive under John Hutchinson. And I, for one, am just extremely excited, as he is too, for him to hit the field and make a difference for the team. So hopefully you all enjoyed that interview as much as I did doing it. And if you did enjoy, go ahead and give us a subscribe or a follow or a like on your podcast platform of choice, whatever you like to use. I use Spotify, but if you use Apple Podcasts, Amazon, I think, is doing podcasts these days. Whatever, you can find us there. Just search Seriously Loco. And you can also find us on Twitter at Seriously Loco, and we're on Instagram. And you can find us on Patreon. We've got articles going up about the new signings and about the upcoming season. So keep an eye out there. for any new content, and consider supporting us if you're into what we do. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed, like I said, and until next time, stay loco.